Coming up on InfoSecSync, Russia cyber gang REVIL is back. Well, sort of.
Plus, the agriculture and food industries are being warned of increasing attacks.
Also ahead, federal agencies are being dealt a deadline to get with a comprehensive cybersecurity program.
And COVID travel restrictions were to thank for a major hacker arrest. We've got those stories and more, so get ready to get in sync with InfoSecSync.
You're watching the InfoSecSync Weekly News with Nick Thomas and news anchor Leyla Gulen, sponsored by Axellio. Threat detection and response done right. Axellio.
Welcome to the InfoSecSync Weekly News for week ending September 10th, 2021. I'm Leyla Gulen with your host, Nick Thomas. Good day to you, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Look, we're entering fall season now.
Yeah, it's getting cool. It was a little bit cool out there today, so I like the weather. Had a great Labor Day. How about you?
I had a wonderful Labor Day, but we've been warned that Labor Day and such holidays are ripe for opportunity for a lot of these cyber attackers, which we'll get into one in just a little bit. But first, they're back. The operators behind the REVIL ransomware as a service staged a surprise return after a 2-month hiatus. The reemergence follows the widely publicized attack on technology services provider Kaseya on July 4th. It's not clear if REVIL is back in the game or if they've launched new attacks, but 2 of its dark web portals, including the gang's Happy blog data leak site and its payment negotiation site, have resurfaced online. The Russia-based cybercrime gang was responsible for encrypting approximately 60 managed service providers and more than 1,500 downstream businesses using a zero-day vulnerability in the Kaseya VSA remote management software. REVIL also spearheaded the attack on the world's largest meat processor, JBS, in May, costing the company $11 million in ransom. All right, so my question to you here, Nick, is when a gang goes dark and then comes back, what is this usually an indicator of, if anything?
So that's usually an indicator that they're still in the game. They still have things to do, and they are still after money. So that's what it's all about, money, really.
Money. That's the bottom line. Well, more to come after the break. Apple privacy backlash. We'll be right back.
Are you concerned the next news headline on a security breach includes your company name? In a recent IBM cyber report, 51% of all interviewed organizations reported a significant business disruption during the past 2 years due to a cybersecurity incident, while organizations using 50-plus security tools rank themselves lower in their ability to detect and respond to an attack, with the average security operation team using 70 tools. If more tools and data are not the answer, what can you do? Axellio works with you to optimize a threat detection and response solution to fit your environment to prevent tool and data overload. We leverage and optimize your existing infrastructure, enhanced with the Axellio platform as necessary, utilizing open source solutions where applicable. And we work closely with you to deploy, configure, document, and educate your team. Axellio, let's create the right security solution for your environment.
Apple is temporarily hitting the pause button on its controversial plans to screen users' devices for child sexual abuse material. The tech giant received blowback over worries that the tool could be weaponized for mass surveillance and erode the privacy of users. Apple's Neural Hash technology would have worked by scanning users' iCloud photo libraries for illicit content. However, the Electronic Frontier Foundation criticized it as an on-device surveillance system. The changes were originally slated to go live with iOS 15 and macOS Monterey later this year, starting with the U.S.
Well, do you think Apple was overstepping their boundaries in this case?
You know, I think Apple was just trying to help out the policing community at large and keep kids safe, basically, is what they were doing. So I got to give it to them. They were looking forward, so really good on them.
Their heart was in the right place, but
yeah,
they have a few things to suss out, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, a ransomware attack forced Howard University to temporarily close its doors. The incident was discovered just before the Labor Day weekend, forcing the university's enterprise technology services to immediately shut down the internal network to contain the attack. The university did not provide information on which ransomware family might have been involved in the attack, but did say that personal information does not appear to have been compromised.
Meanwhile, Microsoft is sounding the warning over an actively exploited zero-day flaw impacting Internet Explorer. The flaw is being used to hijack vulnerable Windows systems by leveraging weaponized Office documents. The remote code execution flaw is rooted in MS HTML or Trident, which is used in Office to render web content inside Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents. However, the current attack can be surpassed if Microsoft Office is run with default configurations, wherein documents downloaded from the web are opened in Protected View or Application Guard for Office, which is designed to prevent untrusted files from accessing trusted resources in the compromised system, Leyla.
CISA has issued new guidance for government and private organizations looking to outsource services to a managed service provider, or MSP. It's called Titled Risk Considerations for Managed Service Provider Customers. The document includes best practices and considerations from various authoritative sources explaining risk management responsibilities, which should include maintaining awareness of the systems and technologies in use within their organizations and understand the risks associated with the loss of systems, data productivity, cost, and customer confidence. Businesses that outsource IT services to an MSP should maintain full control of access to their systems, should be aware of vendor access, and should keep network logs as well as off-site backups of all critical data. Are these third parties usually trustworthy? Does it matter if they're foreign or domestic?
Leyla, that's a great question. The issue that the cybersecurity community is having as a whole is supply trust management, and that comes in with what we're talking about here. So you have to ensure that your third party that you're dealing with is somehow vetted either by a third party or by yourself, and make sure they have things in place like great cyber hygiene and things like zero trust. And speaking of zero trust, over the next 3 years, federal agencies are tasked with building out zero trust architecture to better receive orders and initiatives from the White House. The Office of Management and Budget will require major progress in the areas of identity management, device and asset tracking, encryption of federal network traffic, and software testing. CISA has released draft versions of their own zero trust maturity model and cloud security guidance, both of which are accepting public comment until October 1st. They're hoping that by the end of 2024, government agencies will have an enterprise identity system in place, a complete inventory of IT devices and hardware, and routine testing of application code, among other requirements, Leyla.
Well, the federal government is really cracking down on organizations to better protect themselves, which is a great thing. They seem to be getting really organized. But how do they plan on making sure that everyone is following suit?
You know, that's the whole thing that's going on now with the cybersecurity czar and Jen Esterly taking over, and with the executive orders from the White House, and the story we did last week on the tech giants coming in to help out too. So all those things working together is soon going to propose something that is worthy to the cybersecurity community as a whole.
Very good. Well, the SEC has penalized several companies due to cybersecurity breakdowns. Some of the companies include Investment Services, Advisor Networks, Investment Research Advisors, and Cambridge Investment. Hackers had taken advantage of the security holes to gain unauthorized access to email accounts and customer data belonging to more than 4,300 clients. Each company must pay a fine of up to $300,000. Nick?
Agriculture and food companies are being warned of an increase in ransomware attacks that could threaten the U.S. food supply. Attacks against the food and agriculture industry jumped more than six-fold last year, vaulting the industry into seventh most targeted industry. The U.S. Department of Justice sounded the warning, citing the use of automated and operational systems which can be compromised and taken down even if private data is protected.
The China-linked GRAYFLY espionage group has launched malware campaigns against businesses in Taiwan, Vietnam, the U.S., and Mexico. The novel backdoor technique is called Sidewalk. It's been seen in campaigns targeting U.S. media and retailers, as well as Exchange and MySQL servers. The Sidewalk backdoor is similar to Crosswalk, as they are modular backdoors used to exfiltrate system information and can run shell code sent by the command and control server. Researchers have seen GRAYFLY targeting a number of countries in Asia, Europe, and North America across a variety of industries, including food, financial, healthcare, hospitality, manufacturing, and telecommunications. Experts say GRAYFLY is expected to develop and improve its custom tools to enhance evasion tactics, along with using commodity tools such as publicly available exploits and web shells to assist in their attacks.
Well, it's time for a break, and when we return, a major data leak at Fortinet. We'll be right back.
Many organizations are protecting their environment through perimeter defense using a combination of firewalls, IDSs, IPSs, and endpoint protection. Even though cost-effective, recent events have shown that perimeter defense, even though necessary, is not sufficient when it comes to threat detection and response. And once a threat actor penetrates these defenses, what tools do you have to detect their every move or to stop their preparations for ransomware attacks or data exfiltration? At Excelio, we believe that comprehensive network visibility across your network, inside and out, is essential to identify and respond to today's threat actors. Packet Express provides the network visibility and contextual data to detect, prioritize, and mitigate threats, no matter where they hide. Excelio, threat detection and response solutions with Packet Express, the network visibility hub.
Google has issued an Android security bulletin with patches for a total of 40 vulnerabilities, 7 of which are rated as critical. The most severe of the issues, a critical security vulnerability in the framework component that could enable a remote attacker using a specially crafted file to cause a permanent denial of service. This month's Android patches also include a Google Play system update.
Meanwhile, a researcher on Google's security team has identified 3 critical vulnerabilities affecting several NETGEAR smart switch products. They say if exploited, it gives the attacker complete control over the compromised device. One of the issues is an authentication bypass vulnerability that can only be exploited when the targeted NETGEAR switch's smart control center is enabled. Another is an authentication hijacking vulnerability. This vulnerability requires an attacker to be on the same IP address as the administrator's local IP address to hijack it. NETGEAR has issued a security advisory confirming that it has issued patches for 20 NETGEAR products affected by these vulnerabilities. The company recommends its customers download the update from its NETGEAR support center.
A popular business collaboration platform is seeing mass scanning and exploitation 2 weeks after a critical RCE bug was disclosed. The just patched critical remote code execution vulnerability in the Atlassian Confluence server platform was suffering wide-scale exploitation. Atlassian Confluence is a collaboration platform where business teams can organize its work in one place. The platform can essentially house a treasure trove of sensitive business information as well as supply chain information that could be used for follow-on attacks on partners, suppliers, and companies. Nick?
At least 87,000 FortiGate SSL VPN devices have been compromised due to an unpatched bug. It's been confirmed that a malicious actor has leaked login and password credentials which can be used to gain further private data. The breach list contains raw access to companies spanning 74 countries, including U.S. entities. The bug relates to a path traversal vulnerability in the FortiOS SSL VPN web portal, which allows unauthenticated attackers to read arbitrary system files, including the session file, which contains usernames and passwords stored in plain text. The bug, tracked as CVE 2018 TAC 13379, also emerged as one of the most exploited flaws in 2020. Fortinet recommends disabling all VPNs and upgrading the devices. When we come back, even TrickBot can't get past COVID. We'll explain after the break.
Are you concerned the next news headline on a security breach includes your company name? In a recent IBM cyber report, 51% of all interviewed organizations reported a significant business disruption during the past 2 years due to a cybersecurity incident, while organizations using 50-plus security tools rank themselves lower in their ability to detect and respond to an attack, with the average security operation team using 70 tools. If more tools and data are not the answer, what can you do? Axellio works with you to optimize a threat detection and response solution to fit your environment to prevent tool and data overload. We leverage and optimize your existing infrastructure, enhanced with the Axellio platform as necessary, utilizing open source solutions where applicable. And we work closely with you to deploy, configure, document, and educate your team. Axellio, let's create the right security solution for your environment.
Welcome back. OpenSSL has released a completely refreshed version of its software. OpenSSL handles much of the encrypted communications for the internet. Its latest version adds compliance with the Federal Information Processing Standards and reduces the number of low-level API functions. This hinders developers from misusing or mistakenly using those functions. The upgrade will help developers reduce attack surface while still retaining functionality. OpenSSL 3.0 also introduces the concept of providers, which determine which cryptographic algorithms are available for use. The initial library comes with 5 different providers as standard, which can be specified in the code or through configuration files.
A critical security vulnerability has been found at an Indian multinational technology company that could offer up the keys to the kingdom. The Zoho Management Ad Self-Service Plus platform could allow remote attackers to bypass authentication and have free reign across users' Active Directory and cloud accounts. The platform offers self-service password management and single sign-on solution for AD and cloud apps, essentially allowing a bad actor to take control of the platform. This isn't Zoho's first zero-day. Researchers last year disclosed a vulnerability in its Manage Desktop Central, an endpoint management tool to help other users manage their servers, laptops, smartphones, and more from a central location. Leyla?
The California-based design software and 3D technology firm was one of several tech and security companies targeted by a Russian-linked group. AUTODESK security team discovered a compromised server that appears to have been targeted by the same gang that attacked SolarWinds in December 2020. An AUTODESK spokesperson says they were able to identify and isolate the server, collect logs for forensic analysis, and apply a software patch. The supply chain attack that originally targeted SolarWinds led to follow-on attacks that affected about 100 companies and at least 9 federal agencies. An investigation is ongoing. Nick?
Meanwhile, financially motivated attackers are boosting their ability to break into target networks and move laterally once they gain a foothold. Researchers say that it takes time for an attacker to start moving laterally from their initial access point to other systems within a target network that has significantly decreased. They say these attackers are also spending more time in target networks. Ransomware attackers will maintain a foothold after an attack, place their malware as a sleeper cell, and wait until it's time to strike. Months later, they'll do it again.
These bad actors, they just seem to be getting more and more sophisticated. Their work seems to be going faster and faster. So how does one get ahead? How does one be 2 steps ahead of these folks?
Well, that's what all the equipment is for, Leyla, and the expertise in your security team. That's what they're there for. There is no silver bullet, so it's really man hours and intellectual property.
Yeah, it's infinite. It just seems like it will go on forever.
Goes on and on, right?
My goodness. Well, finally, COVID is being credited with a major catch. A hacker known only as Mr. A was picked up by authorities at a South Korean airport after getting stuck in the country due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Another alleged member of the TrickBot gang has been apprehended while trying to leave South Korea. The arrest came following an investigation into ransomware attacks across the U.S. throughout 2020. The Russian national had been trapped in South Korea since February of 2020 due to those COVID-19 travel restrictions. Mr. A is believed to have worked as a web browser developer for the TrickBot crime syndicate while he lived in Russia in 2016. TrickBot is a sophisticated malware first developed in 2016 to steal online banking credentials, and since then it's evolved as operators have added new features. So TrickBot has been around for quite some time. These guys, gals, whatever they may be, they move around. They fly from place to place. Authorities are hot on their trail. Why aren't we hearing more of these arrests? I mean, this is a coup. This is great, but what about the others?
Yeah, and Interpol did a really good job. I mean, these guys, you know, they make the tons of money that they make, and they try to lead really good lifestyles and lifestyles of the rich and famous, I guess. But you know, something as simple as COVID got this guy caught, which was really great. And the police are on the trails of a lot of people. They're just, you know, little steps behind them, but we'll hear more in the future.
All right, sounds good. Well, it's been another busy week. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of Nick and myself, you are now in sync with InfoSecSync. We'll see you again next week.
Many organizations are protecting their environment through perimeter defense using a combination of firewalls, IDSs, IPSs, and endpoint protection. Even though cost-effective, recent events have shown that perimeter defense, even though necessary, is not sufficient when it comes to threat detection and response. And once a threat actor penetrates these defenses, what tools do you have to detect their every move or to stop their preparations for ransomware attacks or data exfiltration? At Excelio, we believe that comprehensive network visibility across your network inside and out is essential to identify and respond to today's threat actors. Packet Express provides the network visibility and contextual data to detect, prioritize, and mitigate threats, no matter where they hide. Excelio, threat detection and response solutions with Packet Express, the network visibility hub.